Tarisland, Paladin, guide, and build. You guys have been asking me for my build, and disclaimer, I will be showing you guys my build, but remember, this is probably not the best optimal build. This is my build, the build I am using. I know I'm ranked rank 1 as a Paladin. However, there's most likely things I would be changing going forward with the Paladin, but this is the current build that I'm using, so let's jump right into the video. All right, so here is my official Paladin. Now let's just start off with the main thing, which is going to be the talent tree. We're going to do the DPS tree, Justice tree first, and then we're going to go into the guard tree later for the tanks. But the skill tree that I currently use, I swap between two specs. Is my preset 2, my preset 3. And I am low-key debating on changing my spec up for other things. But why am I using this preset? So the reason for this preset right here is like the glory strike damage overall. This is the skill that you use the most because this has the lowest cooldown. It's 2.7 seconds, right? So this is a skill that you're going to be using often. So of course you want to try to boost it as much as you can, right? You have just a thump talent, which basically increases my base damage of it, and this is also a skill that I use very often that also gets refreshed playing the Paladin. So these are the skills of course to use. The Judgment, getting Power of Glory, which is right here, is really nice. So it's a 100% chance when I get enhanced that I get a glory chance, which means I will do more damage, right? Judgment Strike is my third skill. Increase the damage and crit damage of it. So these are like obvious talent trees to upgrade later on. Like the crit base crit rate, it was good at the start when you're low on crit, but eventually it's not worth getting, in my opinion, when you already have a bunch of crit, right? Next up we have Shattering Slam, which is the big damage, long cooldown however, but it does a nice AoE damage too. And then just this thumb can now recharge. This one can recharge 2 times, which is grants me a lot of damage. So really good overall to have. I don't do Discipline Storm, of course, because AoE, like AoE's got nice. You want to pump numbers and do a lot of good AoE damage. You could probably run this, but it's not my style of play, right? And then each Glory Strike. Now I've been debating on maybe going for this because again, like I said, Glory Strike, I use it a lot and I'm getting a lot of crit. So if I pump this, I might be able to crit every single time I use the Glory Strike. So there, I'm debating on maybe changing something up and then getting 3 of Dogma basically. And these are kind of obvious. I mean, I don't use this tree. We're going to talk about this in a second, why I'm not using it in the later of the video. But this is the current tree that I'm using. Again, just buffing my stuff. And this is super important, you know, give buff to my teammates. My Trial of Rage, which is this skill. And longer Trial of Rage, and increase my damage when I have Trial of Rage on. The reason I don't use this one, when you get any one Glory Judgment enhancement spell, there's a 3.3% chance to get another enhancement. Now, even though this could be really good, you can pump a lot of damage, the percentage chance of proccing this is super low, right? It's 3%, I think it goes up to 10%. In my opinion, it's not really worth it. Like sacrificing like actual, because all of these are not percentage based. They're like you get these damages when you do something, right? And this is more my style of play. If you want to play more RNG build, you can probably end up increasing your damage, but at some point it might also decrease your damage, right? So I rather go for things that are like 100% guaranteed. So this is the tree I use, and then when I'm not, of course, when I'm not using, when I'm trying to play selfish, I don't want to buff people, I just remove the points from this tree and then add it to other stuff, right? So like Shattering Slam and the Glory Strike, deal more crit damage. So this is my selfish build basically. That's what I use. Now let's talk about my Inscribe stones. My Inscribe stones are right here, and you guys probably look at it and you think, yo, your Inscribe stone is weird, Speed. Like what's happening over here? Why are you not getting the cores? Now overall, after checking some stuff out, I really like this core, and I think eventually when I get enough points, I'm going to invest a little bit into the core so I can get my my stack a little bit faster, my Inscribe Stone energy faster, so I can use my Inscribe Stone. But this is like a little bit of RNG based, and Resonance is really good for getting my Inscribe Stone fast, right? So I'm using this cooldown. I know there's a lot of like points I am not putting into, and that is because I use my Inscribe Stone in one way, guys, and I will teach you guys this. You want to use your Inscribe Stones in a way where you can hit certain thresholds on your stats, right? So if you look at your skill talents right here, you see that your Paladin or whatever class you're playing has these thresholds. When you get 42%, I have a chance to refresh my skills by 12%, right? Even though it's percentage chance, these are huge. So you want to use these talent trees to hit this threshold. My Omni is terrible right now, but I'm trying to get the 6% Omni threshold and then get the cooldown threshold. So this is the way I play my Paladin, right? Is to use my points, my Inscribe stones to hit these. So I try to roll. Same with my emblems. I have Intertwined Fates, Sprawl. The reason I'm using Tribal Ode, High Energy Potion, and Strive, I can put more emblems. I'm looking at emblems like, which emblems was it? It's more like DPS emblems, like, do I have a Strive? Sprawl, and then it's one more. I'm trying to invest in maybe a little more DPS emblems, but right now I'm built like this because I also play tank and I can't afford having two separate emblem builds for each the Paladin and guard class, right? So this is why I have these emblems right now. But you can go even more damage emblems if you're going for pure DPS, right? And then try to roll. You want to try to roll nodes, upper right nodes, and emblem skill levels. That's like the main emblem things you will roll. There's also a chance to get a crazy fourth proc on your emblem, but that's what I'm going to be trying to doing, right? So these are like, this is what I'm going to try to roll. I want to like try to make this one a little bit better, but it's RNG and it costs a lot of money, but this is my current Inscribe stone, right? When it comes to my gear, since I'm not using Judgment Sword, Judgment Strike, I try to focus my aptitudes around my skills right here, right? And you want to try stack it even if you can. I want to try like stack Full Justice Thumb. I think a Full Justice Thumb build will go crazy, but of course you want to try go for epic if you can, or green. But at the end of the day, if I could choose, I would not go for epic Shattering Slam, for example. I would rather have a full blue stack of the Justice Thumb damage. And the reason I'm going to go for Justice Thumb damage, if you guys don't know, is the Paladin, it doesn't have execute skill like most classes do. Like some classes have execute, where you do more damage when the boss is below 25%, 45%. But their Justice Thumb does have that. So this skill does more damage when the boss is below 25%. So it's a really good way to execute the target. So this is why I want to focus on Justice Thumb basically. But this is my gear. I'll have strength cooldown, crit strength, crit strength, all like there's good stuff in all my gear that you need. This one needs to be replaced, which is my weapon, because I want crit and something else instead of stamina, of course. But at the end of the day, you want to have 3 hit pieces so you can reach the hit level for raid bosses. But at the end of the day, it's just the same thing. Try to go for crit, strength. Again, these right here, crit, cooldown, strength. That should be the main focus. Crit, omni, strength. Crit, yeah. So try whatever build you want to go. Crit, omni build is good too. Crit, cooldown build is good too. So just go for the build that basically suits you. Also, there is an Excel sheet by Soviet Panda. I will put in the link in the description below. So many people here, man. I want to put in the description below. It's a guy that does a lot of research and theory crafting on the Paladin. He does great work. So if you want to learn a little bit more Paladin, check out this spreadsheet. It has everything there that you need about the character and all the info you need. And a little quick, let's talk about this the skill tree of Judgment Sword. Now, Judgment Sword is good, and the nice thing about Judgment Sword is because Judgment Strike you can only use once, right? When you add the dummy, let's go to the dummy real quick. The thing with this skill is both of them are really good. Judgment Sword used to be much better than Judgment Strike that currently I'm using back in betas, but now they kind of balanced it out. But for example, the thing with the Judgment Strike is like you can refresh it, right? But the cooldown is 9 seconds, and the thing with Judgment Strike also is even though the cooldown is 9 seconds, you can only get a 1 charge of it. But if you use Judgment Sword, you can get 3 whole stacks of them, so you can use them 3 times in a row. So it depends on the battle of the fight, right? But sometimes I feel like Judgment Sword might be stronger than Judgment Strike compared to certain bosses. But right now, all my stuff, like I showed you guys, I have a bunch of like this. I have a bunch of aptitudes as Judgment Strike, so I can't really switch back to Judgment Sword right now because I would lose out on damage, right? But if I see a lot of like Judgment Strike damage, like Judgment Strike damage, so since I rolled my aptitudes for Judgment Strike, I'm gonna end up going with Judgment Strike. But if I had more Judgment Sword aptitudes, I would probably go for the Judgment Sword build, right? But both are really strong, so whatever your aptitudes roll, that's the talent you want to go for. But that is it for DPS. Let's go for the tank. Now, for my tank, boys, so I have a bunch of specs here. I have full tank spec, DPS tank, all that stuff. So with the full tank, I go with this. I don't use Holy Sword. I use Holy Shield Bash. We're gonna talk about it in a second. But again, I mean, I don't need this anymore. It's been so long since I tanked, so I'm gonna be removing this glancing rate and putting in something else. But this is basically my full tank build. This will be like the way I can shield the most. The reason I only have Holy Fire is active, shield bounces up to one target. I only use this 1 out of 3 when I'm fighting bosses that don't have mobs or ads. But if there's a bunch of mobs that spawn, I put this on 3. So just get aware of this, right? Holy Regen is nice. You get more healing receipt, but I don't think like I need that much HP, because at the end of the day, the healers have to heal your HP too, right? So I only pop 1 of this. I think it's enough, get a little bit healing increase, but you can invest 3 out of 3 in this too if you want to. If you're not shielded by Flying Shield, direct damage, no gas, you can get more Age Ascendancy. I mean, this one is nice, but how often are you not shielded by Flying Shield? You're popping Flying Shields a lot, right? Like every 13 seconds. So, but it also could be good to, and you don't glance. So it's like an RNG chance, right? So you might get hit and you glance to hit, or you might be shielded by Flying Shield, so this won't work, right? So overall, getting the 33% chance to get Age Ascendancy, I mean, you can make it 100%, but not my type of build. The base cooldown for Holy Sword, I'm not using Holy Sword. But yeah, this is my build overall. Flying Shield deals more damage and Shield absorbs more damage. It's good. Holy Sword. After casting Holy Region, next Holy Hammer recovers HP. Like recovering HP to my damage, this is very small numbers. In my opinion, this is not worth it. But yeah, this is my tank build. I use Holy Shield Bash over Holy Sword because I just feel like it does so much more for me. It gives me more Aegis energy. It gives me, I take less damage, and I deal sometimes more damage too, right? But overall, it's more of a better defensive skill than Holy Sword, in my opinion. And then I use this one because this one is really nice because you can pop it before you die. If you know you're going to die or you know the boss is going to enrage, you can pop it, you can survive, right? This is great. And I also have like a DPS talent tree. And this is Holy Sword based. So if I want to be more damage based, I use Holy Sword. So Holy Sword deals more damage. It's basically the same thing, but everything invested in Holy Sword instead, right? So if you want to go more DPS-y, you want to do more damage as a tank, go for this build right here. If you be one of tank, go for this. Now, I'm going to be honest, I don't have a certain Inscribe stone for tank. I mean, I had this one for tank. I mean, I put more into stamina, but I still need to do more research on this and change some stuff out. Like you guys can see, if you're going full tank, you should not be using these emblems that I'm using, right? Because Strive, you should be using Strive. You shouldn't be using Sprawl. This is more damage style. If you want to become a damage tank, sure. But if you want to go full tank, there are much better emblems out there that you guys can use. Just do not use like this one, PaladinGuard. Do not use this. This is absolutely horrendous. There's another one where 10 enemies around you. Yeah, there's this one. This increases your defensive. Don't use this one. So don't use PaladinGuard. Don't use the Steel Bone. Try. I mean, reversal. I think reversals could be good. This one could be good, and potential could be good. Potential is really good, so you can use potential instead, right? But overall, I use high energy potion, tribal ode, and intertwined fates. So this is my talent tree. I focus a little bit more on stamina. But kind of same thing, right? Trying to use reach those thresholds, like I talked to you guys about, like reach these thresholds, glancing rate, high enough glancing rate, high enough cooldown, and high enough omni, right? But yeah, I gotta work a little bit more on my tank. It's not that great yet, but I do like the same thing for tanks. Like, look, I'm missing, bro. I'm missing a special aptitude still on my tank. Yeah, but I gotta focus a little bit more on my tank. But right now, I'm mainly DPS. But you guys, you guys know where I'm going with this. Same thing. You focus on the same special aptitudes here. I'll probably go for more of flying shield bash, flying shield. Special aptitudes. Flying shield is really strong, guys. So definitely go for a flying shield. Go for, in my opinion, the main skills I use as tank, because these Holy Regen, Ardent Guardian, they're good skills, but they have long cooldowns. So if you're gonna go for anything with special aptitudes on, you want to try to focus on these 3 right here. So I would go for Holy Hammer, Holy Shield Bash, or Flying Shield, the skills that you use the most as a tank. But yeah. But that is basically how my talent trees, my build, everything for my class. Hopefully that helped you guys out to understand a little bit about the game. Again, there will be probably more changes to the class, but if there be future changes, I'll probably post it make a new video on it so you guys are up to date. Now, I will be making this about every single class. I know you guys have a bunch of questions about the players that play with me, like, you know, the mage I play with, the rangers, assassin, all the stuff. But I'll be doing a separate video where I'll have them in the call and I'll show them talent using Scrapstone, and basically they'll talk a little bit about the class and how they play it. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Give me a thumbs up. Make sure you check out this right here, and check out my streams. I stream both on Twitch and YouTube, so make sure you guys tune into that. But thank you so much. See you guys later. Bye bye.